Welcome to another stage analysis video. It's Wednesday the 7th of February 2024. I'm going to start off today's video with a look through some of this week's earnings movers before getting into yesterday's watch list stocks in a bit more detail, then finishing off with some of the major crypto coins for a bit of a change of pace. So I'm going to, as I said, start with some of the bigger earnings movers of the week. So I'm not going through all of them, just a few of the ones that I've noticed and have put into the watch list. Have been in there for a while, for example. So PLTR starting to move again after a big base structure that's been developing since all the way back in June last year. It's been going sideways, moved through the early part of stage 2 and then started to develop stage 3 characteristics and finally started to push back out with a new stage 2 continuation attempt. You see the volume, second highest weekly volume that it's had in, well, since its existence really here. So since all the way back towards the IPO. So, and we've still got 2 more trading days for the week. So there's plenty of potential in this for a continuation, as if it can close near the high of the week with this much volume coming into it, as that's not very ordinary volume, as you can see. If we look at the daily chart, you can see the base structure in a bit more detail here. Good follow through move today, another 7.91%, pushing it out to new 52-week highs here. So big gap up on the earnings day coming out of the base structure. You can see the classic Wyckoff structural elements in this before your initial buying climax, automatic reaction, secondary test areas, and up thrust started to roll over, but only come back into the middle part of the range. So held up reasonably well, still above that rising 200-day moving average, and has now started to push back out again with a new stage 2 continuation. So interesting one. Look for this to continue up back towards those IPO highs potentially, but at the moment we just want to see how it holds in the coming weeks, whether it don't want to see it drop back below that 20 level really, as that would be a major sign of weakness in the near term. So you want to see, with a significant bar like this, it hold around half of that bar, start to trade and grind its way back up and out of that. We carry on. Sorry, Stock Charts has done an update recently. I talked about it on the weekend video, and the spinner takes a lot longer all the time. It doesn't take you back to the same place that you were in, so I'm not a fan of the update so far. So if anyone from Stock Charts is watching, please fix it. It's really annoying. So, okay, next up tonight we've got ARM. Have a massive move in the after hours. So I've actually flicked this to another page so it doesn't jump the place. So you can see was up over 35% at one point, so got all the way up, well, 38%. It's dropped back again now, back down to 22%. So a lot of action in this one in the after hours here. Don't have volume on the stock charts in the after hours, but you can see a big move. It's been in the watch list numerous times, so this is way off the charts up here at the moment. So original entry point was back down here. We started as it started to come out of the IPO base structure here, and some secondary entry points as it started to move through and on the pullbacks. So it's been basing for a little while through this structure, and as I said, now pushing all the way up and out through here with that massive spike in the after hours. So it looks something like that at the moment. So we'll see how it settles out tomorrow and during the day, whether it actually can settle around the $100 level or falls back below that again. I think it's below it in the after hours at the moment. As I said, it's come back down through it again after being above for a little while. So if we get back to the extended hours chart here, yeah, so it has dropped back through that $100 level at the moment. So, but big stage 2 move into to new highs with this one. If we look at it on the weekly chart, it's very new at the moment still. So somewhere up in this range at the moment since the IPO base breakout back down here. So clearly in a stage 2 advance, but generally I don't like to use the stages with IPO stocks initially. Prefer to use the life cycle trade for these kind of ones. So you've got what we call the IPO advance phase at the moment, as it continues to push higher through here. Once that tops out, it rolls over and then starts to come back down and form a new base structure. That's when I start to use the stages, once it starts to pull back into stage 4 and then into stage 1. That's when we start to move back out into stage 2. So initially life cycle trade markup for it, as it's a different kind of beast in the first year of trading, really. All right, if we go back, CFLT is another one of interest today, having a big move in the after hours here. So again, if I flick this out to a secondary chart, you can see the after hours move at the moment up around 20%, so big move for this stock. If we go to a weekly chart on this, you can see the massive base structure it's been in over the course of the last year and a half here. So it's the lower structure here, potentially had a stage 2 breakout attempt through this area and roll back over again, and then failed through this gap down move here on that earnings failure back there. But with the move back through here today, so if we come back to the intraday chart, what we're at 29.40, so it's actually moved up into the 30 area here, so back above its 30-week moving average, which will start to flatten out here. So it can hold up in this area. See, it's coming back above this zone where it topped out multiple times and where the original stage 2 breakup was, so regaining that level again. So potentially could be moving back into stage 2 here, and whether it's late stage 1 or early stage 2 doesn't really matter at this point. It's whether it can start to clear through some of that old resistance. So if we can see it consolidate, make a back up through here and start to push out, then could get interesting on the back up, or could be interesting obviously in this zone here as it starts to push out again, or even on a continuation breakout. So definitely one to keep an eye on here. If we go to the daily chart on this, as I said, that's also going to be pushing it through its 200-day moving average is at 28.11 at the moment, so it's 29.40 here currently. So through the 200-day moving average and starting to fill this gap from back in late October there. Moving on, Disney, another one moving in the after hours. I think they announced a deal yesterday with ESPN and some others, which has potentially helped this as well. It has been forming a stage 1 base and started to push out into potential early stage 2. So if we go back to the chart, what we're at 105.55, so up around this area here at the moment. So definitely pushing out into stage 2 at the moment, starting to clear some older resistance levels. So you can see the base structure that's kind of developed over the course of the last year and a half. It's been a very choppy one, been grinding its way down, bit of a obviously wedge forming as it's come down a bit, but not too much on that. Last 6 to 8 months or so has definitely been a tighter kind of range, but starting to push its way out into early stage 2. You can see the 30-week moving average has turned up, the 10-week is above the 30-week moving average. Relative strength with this move will go back through the zero line here, and if that can hold tomorrow, so moving into early stage 2 and starting to get clearer of that old resistance. So Ichimoku cloud as well, sitting at the moment just around that area, so 105 did we say in the after hours. So just starting to clear the Ichimoku cloud for the first time as well, so this gives a 6-month lag on that resistance zone. So potentially if it can hold there and start to clear out, then could be in a good position to continue higher in stage 2.